So let's talk more about judicial vacancies with John Stefaniuk. He is Vice President of the Canadian Bar Association. And joining me from Winnipeg, Mr. Stefaniuk, good to see you.
Good to see you, Andrew.
So in that letter obtained by Radio Canada, the Chief Justice says the situation is untenable. He says we're near a point of no return, that our democratic institutions are at risk because of these judicial vacancies. What's the significance of the country's top judge saying all this?
Well, first I'll say that we haven't seen the text of the actual letter. We've seen reports, but we certainly share the concerns that have been expressed. And the significance is manifold. First off, with the Supreme Court's decision in the Jordan case and subsequent cases, there's of course the question of delay and its effect on matters in the criminal justice system, that if delay is inordinate, it can result in the stay of proceedings in many circumstances, which can have an impact on the public's perception as to whether or not justice is being administered and affect confidence in the administration of the systems of justice. We've had a recent Supreme Court of Canada decision in which a delay was reason for dismissal of a manslaughter conviction. So this can apply to even very serious offenses. The other part of it, of course, is that it has an impact on access to justice. And when people find that they are unable to get redress from the courts in a timely fashion, they either go without that redress or just simply get frustrated with the system, and that undermines confidence and support for the legal institutions. And when you lose confidence and support for legal institutions, it's a threat to rule of law and democratic systems of government that we all cherish.
So as of this month, there are more than 80 positions vacant across the country. That's around 8% of federally appointed judges. What do you see as the main roadblocks to getting these positions filled?
Well, I think there are a number of roadblocks. Some are within the purview of the Minister of Justice, and some are perhaps more systemic. One thing that is in the purview of the minister is to ensure that the committees, judicial advisory committees, are functioning in each of the jurisdictions in which they are appointed. Those are the committees that vet applications for judicial appointment and provide recommendations to the minister and generate the lists from which the minister may select appointees. And currently there are several committees that are not functioning, and it's important to get those positions filled, any vacancies, and to get them fully operational so that applications can be dealt with on a timely basis. Another issue is a little bit more systemic, and that is ensuring that there's sufficient numbers and breadth of applicants. And that's something where the CBA has been working very hard in terms of encouraging people who might have an interest in applying for judicial appointment to get their names in. We've worked hard over the last several years in making recommendations to simplify and adjust the application itself to make it less intimidating for some potential applicants and make it more relevant. And we have, even as recently as December, when we've had a couple of national webinars in which we have focused on the judicial application process, and then specifically applications for those in underrepresented groups. So with that, we hope we can round out the field of applicants from which the committees may make their recommendations and from which the minister may make selections to best reflect Canada and in the legal system.
Right, and we did hear the Justice Minister today talk about efforts for those underrepresented groups applying to sit on the bench. He's also called the overall issue of vacancies a serious problem. He says the government is working to fix it, but points to the fact that the government has appointed some 600 judges since taking office, but is there something more in the short term that the government can be doing to speed up the process? Because you've been talking about some issues just now that I know the CBA has been pointing to for several years.
Well, in the short term, I think it's to review applications that are available and make recommendations. If there are gaps, if there are if the pool is not sufficiently broad, then I think there can be efforts made to engage additional applicants. The judicial appointment process allows me or you or anyone to approach a potential candidate and encourage them to make an application. It also contemplates that anyone can make a recommendation to the Office of Judicial Affairs, who will then contact the person whose name has been put forward and request that they put in an application.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. John Stefaniuk, Vice President of the Canadian Bar Association. I want to thank you for your time tonight.
You're very welcome. Thank you.